a shadowy Guantanamo expansion. A legal battle brews over the Trump administration's deportation plans. The Trump administration's controversial plan to utilize Guantanamo Bay for mass deportations is facing a fresh legal challenge. A federal lawsuit, filed by civil rights attorneys on Saturday, seeks to halt the imminent transfer of 10 undocumented immigrants from U.S. soil to the infamous naval base in Cuba. This marks the second legal action in less than a month, contesting the administration's plans to potentially house up to 30,000 individuals at Guantanamo for deportation proceedings. The escalating legal battle casts a long shadow over the future of immigration policy and raises profound questions about due process and the limits of executive power. The lawsuit, supported by the American Civil Liberties Union, ACLU, focuses specifically on the 10 men currently detained within the United States. The complaint alleges a disturbing lack of transparency, claiming the administration has failed to inform the detainees about the timing or even the certainty of their transfer. This shroud of secrecy intensifies concerns about the fairness of the process and the potential for arbitrary detentions. The plaintiffs' attorneys argue that the lack of notification is a blatant violation of fundamental due process rights, a cornerstone of American justice. The lawsuit highlights the unprecedented nature of the situation. For decades, Guantanamo Bay was primarily associated with the detention of foreign nationals linked to the September 11th attacks. This new use of the base, to detain individuals facing civil immigration charges, represents a significant departure from its historical role and raises serious questions about the legality and ethics of such a policy. The attorneys contend that this represents an entirely new chapter in U.S. immigration history, potentially setting a dangerous precedent for future administrations. The sheer scale of the proposed transfers, potentially reaching 30,000 individuals, underscores the gravity of the situation and the far-reaching implications of the administration's actions. The 10 men named in the lawsuit hail from diverse backgrounds, including Afghanistan, Bangladesh, Pakistan, and Venezuela. Crucially, their legal representatives emphasize that these individuals are not high-risk criminals or gang members. This assertion directly challenges the administration's justification for the transfers and raises concerns that the policy may be driven by political expediency rather than legitimate security concerns. The attorneys argue that the chosen method of deportation, transferring individuals to a location outside U.S. jurisdiction, directly contradicts established federal immigration law. President Trump's January 29th executive order, which expanded Guantanamo Bay's operational capacity, cited the dismantling of criminal cartels as a primary objective. While the stated aim might seem laudable, the means chosen are highly contentious. Critics argue that the administration is exploiting a legal gray area to bypass established legal processes and potentially violate international human rights norms. The use of Guantanamo, historically associated with controversial detention practices, adds another layer of complexity and fuels accusations of a disregard for fundamental rights. The lawsuit further argues that the U.S. government lacks the legal authority to detain individuals outside its own territory. The legal status of Guantanamo Bay, while leased from Cuba, remains a point of contention. The plaintiffs argue that the base remains legally part of Cuban territory, making the transfers a violation of international law. This legal argument underscores the multifaceted nature of the challenge, encompassing issues of domestic law, international law, and human rights. The Migrant Detention Center at Guantanamo operates independently from the Military Detention Center and courtrooms established during the Bush administration's War on Terror. While the Military Detention Center once held nearly 800 detainees, the number has now dwindled to approximately 15, including Khalid Sheikh Mohammed, the alleged mastermind of the 9/11 attacks. The sharp contrast between the historical use of Guantanamo and its proposed new role highlights the unprecedented nature of the current situation. The lawsuit emphasizes the arbitrary nature of the selection process, further highlighting the lack of transparency and due process afforded to these detainees. The potential for indefinite detention without proper legal recourse raises profound concerns about the erosion of fundamental rights and the rule of law. This legal battle is far from over. The implications of the Trump administration's plan extend far beyond the 10 individuals currently named in the lawsuit. The potential transfer of thousands more raises serious questions about the future of U.S. immigration policy and the broader implications for human rights and international law. The ongoing legal challenge underscores the importance of vigilance in protecting fundamental rights and ensuring the transparency and fairness of all legal processes, especially those affecting the most vulnerable members of society. The coming months will likely witness further legal skirmishes as the courts grapple with this unprecedented attempt to utilize Guantanamo Bay for mass deportations. The eyes of the world are watching.